Hey everyone, welcome to Past Lives and the Divine. I'm Gina, the host of this podcast, and today I have another haunted worksite for you. And before I get into describing what that is all about, I want to let you know about two things. So I have Kinship. My annual membership is opening up for 2024 registration. You can learn all about what is included in the 2024 membership, but it's hypnotic journeys every month. It's Kinship only meetings and discussions every month. It's a chance to listen to and share your reflections on tarot, oracle cards. It's a chance to build community around these kind of woo-woo conversations that are out there that, if you're like me, there's not a ton of people in your personal life who like to talk about these things. So it's a great container for that. Click the link in the show notes to learn more about what's included and what some of the Kinship members say about the membership. If you're on my email list, definitely check your email. You have a coupon code, a little gift if you want to join us in Kinship. I would love to have you. And if you're not on my email list, you can go ahead, head over to pastlivesandthedivine.com, click on subscribe, get on that email list, hit reply to the email. And if it is before December 1st of 2023, I will have a coupon code for you too. Next up, I want to tell you about the Hypnotic Arts training. So we will be kicking off another cohort of students at the kind of mid to end of January, but registration is going to open up on Monday, November 27th. So you've heard me talk about the Hypnotic Arts training before. We have room for 12 students. We have many, many, many more than 12 on the wait list. So it's usually fills pretty quick. So if you're interested in getting trained in hypnosis, interested to learn more about the Hypnotic Arts training, you can go to thehypnoticartstraining.com. And when you're on that website, you can see all the information for the Q&A that's coming up on Sunday, November 26th. And if you missed that, if you're listening sometime in the future, head over to thehypnoticartstraining.com and you can probably watch that replay. At the very least, you can read more about that training and get on the wait list. So when we open up registration for the next cohort, probably around summer of 2024, you can get in on that. Okay, let's talk about the entity exploration that you're going to listen to today. In this session recording, you're going to hear Soulful Stephanie, who is my client, again. And if you check out episodes 134, 135, episode 147, and 148, you can hear other sessions, other conversations between Stephanie and I and other workplaces that we've explored. And it's such a fun conversation. And to go into these spaces and explore with these entities, it can be incredibly empowering. I talk a lot about this. We talk a lot about this in the Hypnotic Arts training. So if you are a hypnotist currently and you're terrified of meeting up with an entity or malevolent energy, or maybe you're just empathic, super sensitive, intuitive, psychic, however you describe that, a medium, and you want to learn more about just showing up in your power in that space, we definitely teach to this in the Hypnotic Arts training. Both Sarah Leverett and I, who created the training, both of us think it's probably a good idea for everyone to know how to handle themselves in that situation, because we are surrounded by these energies all of the time. So we can either put our head in the sand and pretend like they're not there and not influencing us, or we can open our eyes, even if we are a little scared, learn about our power and step into our power and step forward, and not only not be affected by these energies around us, but even make a change to the benefit, to the positive, increase just more lightness in the frequencies around us. Because if we need something in this planet right now, it's lighter energy. So maybe you hear this and this is the first time you're even listening to this and you're like, what the hell, entity exploration? What does this even mean? I have another podcast episode that you might want to listen to after this, or even hit pause here and listen to it before, to really equip you to show up to this conversation, listen to this session from a place of your power. And that episode is episode 169 of Past Lives and the Divine, and it is titled Entities and Attachment. And it's actually a little sliver of a recording of what we teach in the Hypnotic Arts training when it comes to, handling encounters with entities, and attachments of all kinds. What you'll be listening to today specifically is a session that Stephanie and I got together to do to explore a kinship member's workplace. So if you remember, I listed off those 4 podcast episodes. Steph and I, about a year ago, were doing some exploring in a parking garage near where she works and was able to really clear and shift that energy. So listen to those podcast episodes, 134, 135, 147, and 148 to hear the session, hear the exploration, hear our encounters with these entities, how we get them to move on or transmute. And then Steph shares just a little bit about the environment afterward and just anything that coworkers were saying. So it's a good listen, even if it is for sheer entertainment. But I think when we can come to these stories, even if we have a little bit of fear, and hear how someone operates in these spaces, we can kind of embody our own power in those spaces and just feel a little bit better when, we're out in the world and we feel these energies around us. So Steph and I had done those exploratory things, and then I got swept up in work as things happen into the hypnotic arts training and then client work and all the other stoof I've got going on. And so coming back into this fall, I wanted to get back into it. I just love entity exploration. And one of the members in Kinship, we had been talking about on and off, just how haunted her worksite is. And she had shared just a little bit here and there, but we didn't have the full picture. So I reached out and was like, hey, we can explore this, let's do it. So we set up a time, and one of the membership benefits of being in Kinship is the opportunity to watch these sessions live, to have your sweet soul, tapping into this circle, into this portal, into this session and holding space. You can be entertained. Maybe you can learn a few things or let a few things go. But being in Kinship, just a handful of times a year, whether it's a live past life regression or an entity exploration and removal, you'll have the opportunity to do that, to watch it live or watch the replay. Anyway, so the same is true for the people in Kinship in 2023. And Steph and I got together, we set up a Zoom. So a bunch of us got on the Zoom, and I put Steph into a hypnotic trance, or I created the space. She put herself there or allowed herself to go there. She moves with her awareness into this workspace. And what Steph is doing is using her intuition, using her awareness. When I ask a question, she just observes what comes to mind and then relays that message. Oftentimes, I could talk, there's so many different tangents I want to go on here, because working with entities to me is just so fascinating. But what I want you to know is, in this session, Stephanie, in the hypnotic induction to get her awareness into a space to get this information, part of that process is to protect us energetically. So we have, energetic protection around us. We're also grounded into the earth, and we're open and connected to the divine insight, healing, wisdom, light from the highest source. Because that hypnotic induction sounds like a guided meditation, and because Steph and I have worked together so much, I did an abbreviated induction for her, and I left that off of the recording. So what you're going to hear, we're going to start right from the space where her awareness is at the worksite outside of this building, and we're just getting a read of the area. And that's what we do. I just ask questions, and Steph waits to see what comes to mind visually, physically, sensations she might feel in her body, emotions, all kinds of ways that this information can come to us, which I've talked about many times on this podcast, but that's what Stephanie is doing. So we're both totally protected. We both ask for consent from the land, from the area, and just try to get in there and see what the motivation is for these energies, these entities, these souls that are in this space and kind of wreaking havoc on the people who work there. Now, before a journey or a hypnosis session like this, Steph prefers to know the less she knows, the better, which I just absolutely love. And Steph does some of this work on her own as well. And if you like Past Lives in the Divine, you would love her podcast. It's called Soulful Mystics. Her and her friend Julie, both hypnotists, sharing stories and sessions. So Steph has done this work before. So when I was trying to get information, just some context that helps me to ask questions as we're moving through these spaces. And because our intention there is to create just a better feeling, less chaotic space for this kinship member's worksite, I also wanted just to know, ideally, what would this feel like to you? What would this look like to you? That to me is, I don't need the answers to those questions necessarily, but I like to have that. It kind of helps me just guide my intuition and my questioning as we're moving through these unseen realms and trying to get this information. So I had just a little bit of information from this kinship member, just enough to go on, and Steph didn't really have anything. When we met for this session, we basically got right into the hypnotic trance, got right into it, and a number of kinship members were listening to it live, and the kinship member who works at this place that we were exploring was there. And so after we got out of that session, and came out of that trance space, we talked a little bit about it, and we have talked a little bit about it in WhatsApp, which is where the kinship members chat when we're not in meeting or when we're not gathering live. So we've talked about it in WhatsApp, we've talked about it at a couple different gatherings, but what you'll hear is Steph runs into kind of the first soul or ghost that she runs into is a man named John. He's a soldier, he's a protector, he's kind of the first one that she meets. And we have an encounter with him at the beginning, and then he kind of steps aside, and then we have an interaction, a really beautiful interaction with him actually at the end that really shifts the energy of the place and allows him to leave this protector position. And so I didn't know any of that. Steph didn't know any of that. And afterward, this kinship member confirmed, like, yes, this soldier, we know who he is, and we actually call him John. So we didn't know that. So she was able to confirm that, yes, that's true. They see them. And then also the way Steph explains the building, the way it might look if you were flying above it is right on with how this kinship member would describe the way the building looks. And it's pretty unique because there's like vegetation on the top of it and it's kind of built into the ground, which is not what I was envisioning. So to have that kind of unfold was really cool. Something else about the area or this building, and we were on the lower floor of this building, was Steph kept getting information about like gas masks and tunnels and a lot of water. And this kinship member confirmed all of that there are tunnels, not only connecting to this building, but kind of all over in the area. The area itself, just the land, holds a lot of water. And the gas masks, I don't know why it's so hard to say right now, it was a bomb shelter, or the building was designed to be a bomb shelter. So it was really interesting, just these, seeming kind of meaningless details that come forward that to me really just paint this picture of what are we doing, like how can we do this? How do we know this? How do these things line up? It's so fascinating to me. So a number of other things came up that she was able to confirm, and another thing was this hummingbird. And Steph mentions a hummingbird, and this Kim member, who this is the place where she works, says there's a hummingbird that's often around, even at a time when like hummingbirds aren't typically around. And she had often thought that the hummingbird was like someone from the past she just got this feeling of like kind of this ancestor energy, this protector energy. And yeah, so when Steph brought that up and then this kinship member really confirmed that, it was just it's so fun to hear those things. It's like, what is this magic? Okay, before we get into it, one more thing. When we go in and we work with these more subtle energies, a lot of times it can take a little while before we're able to kind of pause, reflect, look back and be like, yeah, it's different in all of these ways. So just from doing that actual hypnotic journey, having this kinship member right there in that moment, being able to be like, yes, these things all line up. And since then, we've had just a few conversations, and we will be having more, but just about the energetics and the shifts and the way the worksite feels. And what I think is really cool is when someone like each of us who are so sensitive to these energies and feel these energies and like maybe even dabble in this work, when we do this work, even if I think it's even more cool, like if we don't tell people and then we ask them like, do you feel like this feels different in here? And they'll be like, yeah, I haven't felt John in a while or whatever. That to me is also such a gift. And I don't necessarily look for like the gratitude in that. I don't need people to know that I did that work. To me, it's just really gratifying to know that it's a change. And I talk about it in this recording, and I always talk about it when I talk about entity exploration and removal. But when we are in environments that kind of grate on us for any reason, and that reason might be unseen energies around us that they themselves are like feeding off our adrenaline or feeding off our anger or promoting anger, sadness, so they can then feed off of it. Like these things we feel. And to be able to eliminate that, whether we can feel it consciously or subconsciously, when we eliminate that, the feeling of peace that can live there instead can really make a difference in someone's life. And I've felt it in my own life. I get that feedback from clients all the time. It's a cool thing. I hope you agree. I think if you've made it this long, you maybe do. I love all my weirdos out there. Okay, listen to this. Listen to this session. Let me know if you get any intuitive insights. Let me know if you have any questions. I would love to hear them. You know where to hit me up, Gina at pastlivesandthedivine.com. Okay, let's get into it. Gather around the fire for this workplace entity exploration and removal. And whenever you feel firmly in front of her worksite, Steph, just say okay.
Okay.
Good. So just allow the details of this energy within this space and around this space and on this land to come into your awareness. And first, we want to call forward any beings or the awareness, if there's a keeper of this land that this building sits on. And just calling that energy forward. And we want to help and transition any spirits or energy here that desires to be helped transitioned. And we believe this could be a help to the people here and the building and the land. And so we ask this being, the keeper of the land, if this is okay that we explore here. And what are you aware of when I ask that stuff?
It feels hidden, like there's secrets. It's, I know it's underground, but it feels hidden over top. Like there's something, there's a reason why it's underground.
Good.
And there is a keeper, but he doesn't want to come forward
Okay.
right now.
Okay.
There's something like, there's a lot of soldiers around. I'm not sure what that means, but there's soldiers around it on the outside, but I feel them within as well.
Okay. So let's take a moment and just focus on those soldiers. And maybe one of them kind of stands out to you.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you know about that soldier?
His name is John.
Okay.
Um, He's very quiet. He's very reluctant to talk to me,
Okay.
but I think he's inviting me in.
Yeah, so just allow that to unfold. If it feels comfortable for you to go in, or you can just send your awareness in a little bit further and have some of your awareness still on the outside if that feels good. Just making any adjustments that feel good to you there. What happens next? Or does he say anything next? Or do you move somewhere?
It's kind of like walking in, but I see the workers there, the people who are um, taking care of the place, I guess. And he's bringing me down, like down below, just walking. He's in full uniform. He has a hat, and he's in like a green kind of camouflage type uniform, I guess, like traditional. But he looks nervous
Yeah, what's he nervous about?
about what I'm gonna encounter down there. I see kind of like a circle of men, and he tells me that it's gonna be okay. He doesn't tell me. It's like a telepathic kind of thing. He doesn't talk.
Okay.
And we're walking down, and as we're walking down, there's like um, spirits. I don't know if they're spirits, but I'm just like waiting to be addressed. Some of them are in like wedding gowns, some of them are just by themselves, and we just keep like walking down.
So, is the name of the spirit that's with you, his name's John? Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah.
So, can John give any context as to if there's any themes or reasons why all these soul spirits entities are down here? Is there significant reason that's common to most of them, or what can he tell us about how or why everyone is down here?
Um, he says secrets, secrets. But he's like showing me kind of an outline of underground, like tunnel. It's almost like a tunnel. It's not in the building, or it is, but um, it's unknown to the building. But he tells me not to speak of it. I'm an outsider. An outsider. Uh, he said that's why I was invited.
Why did they invite you?
I'm an outsider.
Oh,
Um, he's smiling. He said I'm an outsider. I don't know why.
so can I ask John some questions? Is he open to answering some questions from me?
I think he's okay with it telepathically. He won't speak, but tele
Okay.
telepathy is okay.
So, John, I'm going to ask you some questions, and Steph, who you're talking to, will relay the answers to me. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, John, what's your role? Why are you here?
He's looking to the right. He's protecting secrets.
Okay. And John, you don't have to tell me what these secrets are, but are they your secrets or are they an organization's secrets? Can you tell me anything else about possibly what kind of secrets are in there without telling me, unless you want to?
Organization. He doesn't know the secret, but he's
Okay.
looking to the right, and I see a group of uh, like men beyond the wall. It's almost like a Thomas, Paul, Jeffrey. He, he's smiling at me because I don't know who they are. Um,
Who, John, can you tell us who they are? Or their relation to the building or the land or the secrets?
they are the keepers of this place.
Ah, okay.
They are of importance. They hold the keys to this. He doesn't want to say country, but I think that's what he means. The
Mhm.
keys to this country. They're just standing in a circle and they're talking beyond the wall. And there's all these tunnels, and these tunnels are leading to. He can't see these tunnels. John cannot see these tunnels, but he knows they're there, and I could see them. There's
Mm.
like leading just different places, and it feels like some kind of portal or what is this? Um, there's something with water around it. I don't know. I don't understand.
Okay. You're doing so good stuff. So just allow, like, if anything else pops up about that, and I have a feeling um, more will come up about that. But I'm wondering if these tunnels have to do with all of the spirits that are around. You had said there was the word portal that was said. And so my question to John, or even if these other men kind of circled around have an answer, I'm wondering if all of these spirits have to do with these tunnels or portals. Like, is it a place for them to travel, or is it something else more so related to, say, the third dimension?
It's both. There are
Okay.
tunnels that's bigger than we think it is, and the tunnels have to do, there's like a portal of shared information through them. Um, there's something bigger happening underground, and I don't know I don't know if it's physical or spiritual, but he says it's both.
Okay.
But there's a lot of something to do with water, and this information comes through these portals and tunnels into this one location because this location was created as uh, it says safe spot, but um, I don't know. It doesn't feel like a safe spot. It's just, it says it.
So my question for John is, who is the safe spot for?
Army, I see like different kinds of soldiers, and well, no, it's not a safe spot for them. I just see a lot of them. There's
Okay.
a lot of white men
Okay. Okay.
in suits and not white men in particular, but like older men that might look white because they have white beards or hair.
Okay.
Who are they? Thomas. There's a Thomas. I don't know who he is, but he seems, it's almost like of um an energy of dimension. Does that make sense? I don't know.
We'll take it.
Energy. Yeah.
Just let it all out. We'll figure it out. So do you get the sense, does Thomas want to talk to us?
No.
Okay.
He
Okay.
can't know we're here.
Oh, okay.
He's beyond the wall. I don't know what wall, but there's a wall and there's something beyond the wall. There's something beyond the wall.
Okay.
Um, a meeting space of some kind. Not in our dimension. I don't like my body is shaking just thinking about that dimension, but I'm not even beyond that wall. And he's telling me not to go.
Okay. So Steph, if you tune into your body, what is this shaking telling you, or is there an emotion with it? Or is it just you don't know and you feel shaky? But tell me more about that shakiness.
It's like when you're really cold, but you're like you're not. And
Yeah.
like you're just shivering and you can't control it. And I don't know if it's because I'm underground or I don't know what it is, but it's like just shivering.
Okay.
Shivering is what it is.
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna so with that shivering, what I want you to do, Steph, if it feels good and it's fine, just take a deep breath just to kind of clear it out. Or if it doesn't feel good, just take a deep breath and on that exhale, blow all your air out of your lungs and just find stillness at the base of that exhale. And then just return to the natural rhythm of your breath and just know that that shivering will slowly subside, if not end right away. So this is for John. Is John still there, Steph?
Yeah.
So John, the reason we're here today is there are people in the third dimension who occupy this space and move in and out of this space for their job, for the world in this dimension of things. And there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear and discomfort as these humans go down into these basements and look for information. A lot of fear just in feeling these spirits, seeing these spirits. And I'm wondering, John, what I want to do is to be able to talk to you and figure out if this is a place of travel or safety for some entities. How can we have entities and spirits in this space and humans, and kind of essentially broker a deal where everybody can, move on if it's their time to move on, if it's a spirit, or what can the humans do? I guess I'm just asking John, I guess my intention is, how can we understand this space more in an effort so the humans are a little bit more comfortable in this space?
Um, some of them are getting too close. They're too close.
Yeah, Steph, ask them to step back. Otherwise, I'll say, can you all step back not too far so we can't hear you, but just a little bit farther until you hear or feel Steph kind of relax.
There's two. Okay, so John says that there is a secret beyond the walls, but and this is related in a way. I mean, he says he's just kind of looking at me, but he's like putting on a gas mask, and I don't know what's beyond the wall. Like it's just wall behind him. There's no door, but there's two people stepping forward,
Okay.
a man and a woman. Don. There's a Don who's a man, and
Okay.
who has a big smile on his face, like he's super proud of himself. Okay, yeah. Now he is proud of himself for being the first to step forward. Um,
Hi, Dawn.
I don't. Who's the woman? Because she looks
Oh,
cool. I don't know, like he's cool, but she looks super cool. Uh,
what kind of message does Dawn have for us?
he he seems wild. Like the smile he's giving me just seems like he, pardon my language, is a shit disturber.
Yeah.
Just stir shit up just because he could. There's a Don and John, not my John, but another John. And the woman, who is the woman? Uh, she reminds me of like me in another life, like Anna. She's an Anna.
Ah, yeah.
Okay, so they're married. They're together. They're married. I don't know, but they're holding hands. Don and Anna. Um,
Okay.
they're both smiling. They both seem happy.
So that's great. So can they share with us just a little bit more about why they're down here or what they do here? Or if they're just passing through?
Anna, uh, she has a hummingbird around her, and I don't know if that's for Maggie. Um, and the hummingbird is just kind of flying around. She seems really happy, but it's kind of like a symbol of um like moving past something. There's like they're showing something of moving past. Um and she's vibrant. I don't know, but she's like highlighted in this space. She just, it's like she can't help but attract some kind of attention in some ways, but I feel like in the waking world, it was Dawn who attracted attention. Um, I don't know why they're coming in, but they seem different from the soldier John.
So can I ask, does Dawn or this woman, Anna, with him, can I ask them questions directly? Would they be okay answering my questions?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering when it comes to being a shit stirrer or just seeming a little bit like you like to stir things up. Don, what can you tell us about what you do down here or how long you've been here?
Over 20 years. Knocking things over, creating a fuss, scaring people without meaning to, just adrenaline, adrenaline junkie trying to fulfill
Oh,
his need, and sorry, sorry, not sorry kind of thing.
so this idea of an entity being in a space, kind of stirring the pot, getting off on other people's emotions, that's humans do that, souls do that. And this is actually pretty common thing to hear for me when I'm doing an entity exploration. This idea that a soul that is stuck is like they're kind of entertaining themselves, trying to get a fix. And this is no different. Like this entity said the same thing. Like, I don't know. While I'm here, I love to stir the pot. I love to feel people's adrenaline. And that's another reason why I think it's so great to do these clearings is that whether we can scientifically prove it or not is not really important to me. But what is important to me is that when we clear out these energies, these shit stirring, pot stirring energies, people report just feeling more at peace, less agitated in these spaces, which, damn, if we need anything in this fucking world, it is for humans to feel more at peace and less agitated. So, Don, what do you like about an adrenaline rush? What does that do for you?
It just feels good. It's happy. It's good. It's like, oh, it feels like you're having sex for the first time. Just, it's just lovely. Uh, it's just great.
So he said it's like having sex for the first time, which I just think is so funny. That is the point of view of a man. No offense, Don. I'm sure
Yeah,
it was great.
I'm taken.
um, so, Don, I'm wondering, are you interested in going somewhere else where you could just feel that good feeling, feel that energy that you get from adrenaline? Would you want to go somewhere else where you could have that as much as you want and not need to get it from other people, but get it from yourself? In response to this, he said he would go anywhere with the woman that he was with, which I thought was really sweet. And anytime I'm doing an entity exploration, I personally believe that it is a gift to be able to allow a human to make their own decision and to evolve if that's what they want. And moving through the light, getting off the earth plane, would be my understanding of how to evolve. So I like to be able to understand what draws them and keeps them in the space, and then use that motivation to be like, you can get more of that in the light. You can get more of that by evolving. You can get more of that by having your own life. And that oftentimes is enough to get these entities to be okay with moving into the light and moving on from that space. So if you're in a space where you're doing this work or you encounter something, that's a little motivation, a little trick that I use to get them to go into the light. And you can see that here. Another motivator, he said he would go anywhere with Anna. And so, of course, I'm going to turn my attention to Anna and ask her some questions. I want her to feel motivated and use her own soul's free will to move through the light, through the portal, into this transition, into this evolution of whatever it is that is meant to come next for these two. Okay, Anna, can I ask you some questions?
Yeah. She's a bit more reluctant, but she's stepping forward. She's glowing. Like I don't know why she's reluctant. She comes forward in like an outfit of some kind though. Like a uniform.
Yeah, Anna, what is your uniform from?
Oh, there's a lot of guilt there.
Mm.
I feel like she's like what do you do? A flight attendant. Flight? Guy. Yeah, flight attendant.
Okay. So Anna said that she was a flight attendant. And then I asked how long she had been here. And that's always an interesting question, asking an entity that. I believe that they experience time in a completely different way than we do. But in this space, Steph was able to read that she had maybe been there about 30 years. And then I asked her, what do you do to fill your time while you're here? And she said, speaking and showing the truth. Tell me about that truth.
I don't know if it's in this building. I see the tunnels again. I don't know if they all correlate in some way, but whatever happened to her, the truth is either in this building or in the tunnels. But I feel like they're holding hands still, so I don't know if they were married and this is here, but I don't feel good about how she left this earth.
Okay. Anna, I'm so sorry about that. Our goal here is to allow you to move on or make something better of your life experience, whatever that is. So my question to you, Anna, is what do you do while you're here? Do you like to kind of stir the pot like Dawn? Do you
Mm-mm.
do something else?
Not as crazy as Dawn, but she has been able to make herself known in a more um, like telling in a more telling way is what she says. Like a a visual. I don't know if that's the hummingbird, like a visual hummingbird of some kind, or a sound. I can hear footsteps, but I don't think it's hers. I feel like it's more like a man. I don't even think it's Dawn, but like
Hmm.
she kind of amplifies it in a way of she can amplify things to make it so that it's known more. Like she wants to unveil the secret or the lie or the yeah, no, she likes the word lie.
Okay.
I don't know what it is though. Something about an eight or
So,
hunted.
okay. So, Anna, there is an opportunity, if you'd like, to move on from this dimension and just to move through the light. And for a human to move through the light, it's our birthright. It's what we do after we die. And I'm wondering if you know about the light, if you've experienced that before. And if you have, do you want to do it again? And if you haven't, do you want to hear about it?
She's known about it. She said that there has been a light shown to her. There are a couple workers there that are recognizing a little bit more of the truth of what's going on, and even if it's subconsciously, she said. But that's her goal is to just understand that there is more to what is happening than what is presented on the surface. And then she's showing me this building of like, yes, there's the surface is camouflaged. So I don't know if the building is camouflaged or if that's just the representation that they like to go by.
Again, just to tell you again, both Steph and I knew where this was located, like the city, the state. I've never been there. I've never seen a picture of this building. Steph lives in Canada. She's got so many talents. She is so intuitive, so creative, so caring, loving, supportive, sees so much beauty in everything. And I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg of Steph and how amazing she is. And geography is not her thing. And she lives in Canada. So she really felt like, she was going in not knowing anything, which is her preferred. But the way she saw this building during this session while she was in hypnotic trance, using her awareness to scan and pick up information from this building, the kin member confirmed this building is kind of like built into the ground. It's designed to be covered by the vegetation around it. So if you were flying over it, you wouldn't be able to see it unless you knew it was there, I guess. And again, Steph and I, neither of us knew that. And the kin member who actually works in this building and wanted us to do this exploration confirmed all of that, confirmed like how it looks, the vegetation around there. And I don't know, I just think that that is pretty fucking cool that Steph was able to read all of that without even knowing like where in the United States, where in this world this workplace was. One of the motivators for this couple of souls that Steph and I were able to find out through questioning in this period was that they were hesitant to move on or motivated to stay in the same place by this idea of like, we need to show the truth or share the truth. And that is also common with entities. Like they're trying to get a message out and they can't for whatever reason, because people aren't listening, because people aren't aware, because people who are aware aren't sharing it. And that's one of the things that I like to be able to offer in this space is like, all right, if there's more to explore here and I have someone willing to explore, like, let's explore. So with that in mind, that idea came up more and more that these entities were saying, there's more to explore here, please come back. And we are. So in a couple weeks, actually, Steph and I have scheduled to do another session like this. And of course, if you are in Kinship, you'll be able to watch that as a part of the membership there. And if you're not in Kinship and watching a session like that live or watching the replay is interesting to you, I highly recommend you join Kinship. In Kinship 2024, there's all kinds of cool things. Like I mentioned before, the monthly topics, all of that. Go to pastlivesandthedivine.com, click on Kinship, see how you can join. But listening to, having access to attend these live entity explorations or even live past life regressions is an opportunity within that membership. And if you like past lives in the divine, I think you'll really like that. What we want to do is to be able to bring it into the light and mostly take any spirits and souls like yourself, Anna, who have been carrying this alone, and to allow you to relax and move on and evolve into your next lifetime. And it could be a lifetime where you do even better work in the world of creating a safe space, a space that's filled with truth. And so having shared your story with us, we hear it. People are going to be listening to this in the future and they will hear it. And we'll continue this conversation. And so knowing that, do you want to move on and continue your own evolution?
Yeah. With
Good.
Don.
Yeah, you two can go together. So if it feels good, if you aren't already doing it, just hold hands or stand next to each other. And then soon you should be able to see a spark of light. It might be in front of you. It might be kind of up or down. It might be to the side. It might be behind you even, but just let me know when you become aware of that spark of light. Anna and Don.
Yeah, it's above.
Okay, good. So just imagine that spark of light growing bigger and brighter until it's like a big portal, a big door that you can step into. And Anna and Don, I want to thank you for everything you did, any joy you brought, any truth you brought to life during your life and in this space. And just move through that light and into the next step of your evolution. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Steph, just let me know when they've moved through.
Yeah, they've moved through.
Good, good, good. And so just in our mind's eye, let's hold the spark of light open. And I want to invite any other spirits, entities, anyone else who heard or saw us do this. And if they're ready to move on, if they're ready to put down their work that they're doing here or the mischief that they're up to and move to a space where they can be fully in their power, having their own experiences, not needing humans to have an experience. And then just allow them to come forward if they want and to move through that portal, move through that light. And Steph, what are you aware of here?
Is it Richard moving through?
Okay.
More, Maury? Marie?
Okay.
Marie? She's a woman, but Maury.
Okay. Okay.
A lot of French people for some reason. So I don't know where we are in the world, but there's a lot of French people.
Yeah, as are they going through that light, Richard and Maury?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're separate, but they're going at the same time.
Okay. And so I'm going to just for now keep that portal open, and any entities, spirits who want to come forward and move on in their journey of evolution into a better space, a lighter space, not so dense and heavy, feel free to move through that. And Steph, as you just kind of use your awareness to scan the building, to scan the basements, or to scan your own awareness, is there any other entities or souls that want to come forward and speak to us? I think we have time for like one more. So here, Steph mentioned that John, the first soul that she encountered, the young man who looked like he had seen a lot, he was in a soldier's uniform. He was like expressing that he wanted to do something, but he also felt like, again, there was like this idea or this vision of this wall and people on the other side of the wall. And it was like he was kind of like a protector of this space, like he wanted to move on, but he felt like he couldn't. And so with that, just I wanted to dig into that. Anytime someone has something that's truly keeping them stuck, there's a way around it. And so we just continued to question him. John, tell me about your fear. If you were to speak out, or if you were to move on or move through the light, what do you fear might happen?
I don't want to misspeak as Seth, but it's almost like there's a council, and the council beyond the wall is trying to keep these secrets, and he has some kind of, not that he knows the secrets, because I really believe he doesn't, but it's almost like he's been taken as a soldier beyond, if that makes sense, to like protect against these other entities coming through, and I don't know, but he's holding strong, but I could see his eyes kind of shifting, like he wants to. I just don't know how to reach him.
So, John, is your role a sort of protector for this space?
Yeah,
Okay.
protector of secrets. There's a few people beyond the wall, but he's the first one.
Yeah. And John, you can move on. You can use your own free will to allow a different entity or an elemental or some other being to protect that space, to take your job. And so then that way you can rest and you can move through the light and regain all your power and come back as a human if you desire. Do you want to find something else to hold this post, to do this protection?
He looked up so excitedly when that was an offer,
Yeah,
and
good.
there was kind of like a smirk. So, yeah, we can, like, that's possible. He he didn't even want to do this to begin with. It was almost like it just kind of was forced upon him, and then he was given this post. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think how can he just someone else's post?
When an entity has a reaction like this, John feeling like super happy but a little hesitant based on the happiness and his previous experience, to me, it just really lights me up that we're able to come up with a better solution. The solutions, there's always more than two. We often think there's only two, right? And for John, that would be stay here and man the post, or leave and abandon the work that you feel like should be done, even though you don't want to do it. Leave and feel terrified about, I don't know, what are the entities on the other side of the wall that are keeping John also in this space. That's also a motivator for him. Another thing I want to highlight in this space is if you can just take a moment and think about the last time you were maybe in a good mood, or at least a neutral mood, and someone came into your orbit, whether they walked into the room or you had to call them on the phone or whatever. This person's energy was like either frantic or angry or just so sad or whatever it is. But we can feel that energy. A lot of times when we do this entity removal, what we're doing is removing stagnant, oftentimes like kind of this frustrated, circular energy. And we're creating a space that's lighter, essentially, and we feel less agitated and less frustrated by the influences around us, which in this case would be the influence of the energy, the influence of these entities that we can't see with our eyes. And I really do, again, I think that that is so important for the human experience. Anytime we can help alleviate some frustration, gain some clarity, and come up with new solutions. Like, this is what we need in the world. I guess this is kind of just one way that I take that vision and try to make it real in this world. But we underestimate the power of the energy around us, the energy of the people around us, the energy of the space around us. And it just lights me up to be able to take someone like John, who's feeling like they have no choice, who's feeling like they are stuck here, that they're motivated by fear, and to be able to give him another option, enlighten that space, and find a new solution for whatever work it is that he's trying to do. And whether it worked for him and the world at one point or not, right now it's not working. He doesn't want to be here. And so let's put an entity in that space who wants to be there and who can help us continue to move souls and entities through this portal to keep this space from becoming too heavy, too stagnant. And maybe this is my own solo experience, but I can see the more needless, annoying, or frustrating things that I can eliminate or quiet in my life really leads to more of a sense of inner peace. It's not like this kind of grinding thing, you know, like even if we have chronic pain, for example, like it can be kind of a light pain, or we can even know like, hey, we had this thing done, this pain is going to be gone in 2 or 3 days. But in those times where it's just this kind of background thing that gnaws at us, that could be pain internally, emotionally, physically from us, or it could be the people around us or the entities around us or the spaces around us. But when there's this low level agitator that's just always there, it affects us. You cannot tell me it doesn't. I'm a hypersensitive person, so I notice that it affects me, but I can see it affecting other people. And so that's something else I love about these entity explorations and removals, is this idea of creating like more peaceful spaces for more humans to feel less agitated. It's a beautiful thing. So John, what do you work with, or do you have any contact with any elementals? Any gnomes, any trolls, any fairies, any dragons, anything else, any elementals? If you were to just kind of look, John, like raise your eyes, look across the horizon, there's an elemental, an earth helper spirit that's coming toward you and is ready to take your post.
Phoenix.
A phoenix, yeah. So allow this phoenix to come in and either fly right beside you or land right beside you if that feels good to the phoenix. And then, John, is there anything you want to share with the phoenix before they take over?
It's not all that it seems. There is so much more beyond which the Phoenix understands.
Okay.
And
Okay.
he didn't believe in this to begin with, so I think he's like ready.
Yes, John, I'm so excited. Good. So, John, are you ready to move through the light?
Yeah.
So, when you're ready, just step through that light and know that through that light are your spirit guides, your ancestors, your family, welcoming you to the next phase of your life. And then, Steph, just let me know when he moves through.
He's moving too.
Good, good. And so, as he moves through there, just another gentle call to any other entities, any other spirits who are ready to move through that light. We offer this to you in gratitude for all the work you've done here and all the goodness you bring to life in the future, and future lives and future experiences after you move through that light and evolve into the highest state, the highest frequency you came here to create. And so, Steph, I'm going to ask the Phoenix a few questions. Is the Phoenix still there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so these questions are for the Phoenix, and I'm wondering, do you have a name or should we call you Phoenix?
I feel Sapphire.
Okay, I like that. So my question for you is, first, I want to express gratitude for taking up this post of protection. I think that we have a lot to discover and play around with here and hopefully help a lot of entities and help the humans who come here every day. And so thank you for helping us with that. And I'm wondering, as you protect this space, could you also kind of keep an eye out and just learn more about these tunnels and about what other dimension is over there? And can we come back and talk to you maybe in a few weeks or a few months, just to see what you've found out? Could we do that? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, there's a lot to discover here. We've been keeping an eye on it,
Okay.
but someone giving up their post gives us even more reach.
Okay. And when you say reach, what kind of reach? What are your goals or what are your intentions with that reach?
It's so far. There's such a far reach, and it's really just about maintaining the passage, the souls that pass and have to pass through the underground. There's going to be a lot more coming up. So it's
Yeah,
about
can you say more
allowing,
about that?
yeah, we need to allow them to release, but they won't be able to if they're stuck underground. There's something about an underground that holds them, and we want to eliminate that, but there's so much underground that we don't understand yet. We need to understand it.
Okay. So I want to work with you on this, and I'm wondering if we can kind of like soaking dishes. I'm wondering if we can kind of set a few things up down here to help souls transition as they're ready and to help keep that energy not so dark and so dense and low, even though it is in the ground. I'm wondering if we can use like the element of air, for example, to just imagine a gentle breeze blowing through that area. Maybe not one that's even perceptible on human skin, but could we set up a little breeze or something else just to keep that energy moving, keep that energy flowing, just that way as things naturally kind of collect down there, maybe we could have less and less stagnancy or less and less stuck energy or souls down there. Does that seem doable, or is there a better way? You tell me, because you're down there.
Yeah, it's like exactly like you said, the energy of air can create a portal so that the portal could just shift anyone who wants to be shifted into the light. And it offers a space, but right now on the ground, there's no portal that releases. It's all portals that contain. And so just allowing that space of light and air could be, even if it's a small one, it's meant for whoever is drawn to it, and they can just be shifted automatically. But
Yes.
right now, not much exists there, especially here in this. But there's so much potential because there's so much water. There's the air and water together can just create a lot of releasement.
So let's set that intention together to work with the elements to keep that energy, that air, the frequency down there, one that's moving a little bit more, one that's not stagnant, one that's not stuck, heavy. And so just setting that intention, just allowing just a gentle, 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 not even perceptible on the human skin wind to blow down there. And then I'm wondering, Sapphire, if you would be okay kind of managing that in the meantime. And if you need help, please call in help. If there's anything we can do to help, we'll be back and you can let us know. But would you be comfortable, Sapphire, managing that wind and answering any questions that a spirit might have if they're hesitant about moving through the light or moving, transitioning to the next phase of their life? Does that sound okay? Or do you have any questions about that?
Yeah, no, that sounds okay. And it's like there's the earth, fire, air, and water element right here that's like creating such a beautiful portal.
In this part of the session, Steph went on to explain just kind of like the beauty that Sapphire, this phoenix, was creating in this space. Not only with like all of the water that Steph was sensing around there, and it's definitely in a wet part of the country, and the fire from the phoenix and the wind that I had put in there, and just the earth, like the actual two floors of this building are actually built into the earth. And so she was having this experience where all of the elements of earth were coming together and creating kind of this portal of protection and evolution. And during this part of the session, I also asked if Sapphire the Phoenix had a message for the kin member, the member of Kinship, who actually works at this worksite. It had come up that this kin member who works at this worksite is a source of energy, a source of light, something that entities are attracted to, which for us who are like trying to clear out our own shadows and just live in a space where we're authentically moving from a soul-centered space without a lot of programming, that can be very appealing. It creates a very sparkly, charismatic, magnetic essence to a soul. We can feel it. As humans, we can feel it. And these entities that are in the unseen realms around us, they feel it too, and they're attracted too. So not only do I think it's interesting to get a message from an entity like Sapphire the Phoenix, but especially when someone is struggling with, like, oh my gosh, these entities are attracted to me, what do I do? I wanted to get a message for this kin member too.
It's almost like they're trying to get her attention because they're attracted to her energy, and others' energy that are similar in the building. So those are the ones that are going to experience stuff, and I think they'll experience it no matter how long they're in the building.
Okay.
But to understand that you can work with that energy because that energy is being drawn to you. And I know it might be scary, but it's not meant to be. It's a way of how they learned to gather that attention and energy. But I know that you might be moving soon, and we will keep these tunnels alive and flowing, but also that there's tunnels everywhere. So please reach out if you need another phoenix.
Is there anything she could lean on for strength? Is it maybe she says your name, Sapphire, or visualizes something when she's down there? Is there something that, from your point of view, Sapphire, she could do that would be helpful for her and helpful just in our efforts to take these entities that maybe don't want to be there or are ready and deserve to move on, to allow them to move on? Like, what can Maggie know about that?
Yeah, using the name Sapphire and Phoenix, just understanding that there is a strong connection to a Phoenix.
So, what was shared was about this kin member just thinking about the phoenix, holding the color blue or the idea of a sapphire in her mind or her heart. And that intention alone, that memory, that knowing would not only help to guide any sort of entity that's moving toward her for some kind of light fix or satisfaction, but also to just illuminate within her this a little bit more intensity, a little bit more protection, a little bit more feelings of like self-trust and the ability to protect herself. So it was really calling on the phoenix, leaning on the color blue.
Maybe that she's kind of like a portal of they're attracted to her, but they try to protect her energy. So I feel like they might be more loud to the ones around her so that they can express it to her so she can even just release it by intention. It's almost like they want to be released and they know that she's the go-to. She's got the in and the knowledge to do so. It's really just like they're trying to work with her, not against her, but with her.
Okay. So, I'm wondering if she just feels she doesn't want to deal with it, or she feels like she's just kind of anxious or scared. Is there any way, Sapphire, for you to be that bright light, for you to be something that these entities are magnetized to, um, in order to get that fix and then educate them and help them move through the light? Is that something you could do, Sapphire?
Yeah. So calling on any blue, so if she has blue crystals with her, or calling on a sapphire of any kind of blue, so she doesn't have to say it through her voice, but like there's in her third eye, just releasing that to her guides or sapphire or a phoenix or anything that works with her. But she has the ability, she just has to give the permission to them.
Okay. This is another piece of insight wisdom that comes in from many different types of sessions, many clients. And it's this idea that as a human, our intention, our free will is the most important thing in our life experience. So whether it comes to how we feel in life, humans just feel better when they feel like they have more control, more autonomy, and then our intention, like our will, what we want to do. We can inherently feel the disaster of, a will being squashed, or someone, if we want someone to do something and they're stubborn, like we can feel the strength of that will. So the human free will, the human intention is consistently brought up as a source of a higher frequency that we can share with other people, as a tool to shift and move energy, to make ourselves feel more rooted, more safe, more belonging. And I see that coming up here. Sapphire, this phoenix, was reminding the kinship member who works at this place that you have the power. You just have to intentionally use it. Even if that power is giving permission to other entities like this phoenix, sapphire, to help move this energy, to understand why these entities are attracted to you, and then using your energy to shift and move that flow, that energy, that vibration in a way that helps not only you or this kin member who works at this place, but also the entities who are there and they're stuck and don't know it, or who are there and they're doing a job that they'd rather not be doing, but they feel like they have to do. All kinds of reasons. But this information for this kin member from the Phoenix was essentially remember your power and lean on it. And something else that came in that I'll pull on that thread as well, is something that my spirit guides have told me over and over. And it's this idea that I've often been like, if I can have a bubble of protection around me, like, why do I always have to like meditate and ground down and open up and protect? And my thought was like, that's great, that's wonderful, but like, that's what I want. So do I need to spend a few minutes every day doing that? And the response was, again, human intention, human free will, it's huge, right? And so my spirit guides just said, if you feel the need to, put up protection or ground down or connect to a higher source or a higher power to gain wisdom, insights, healing, whatever, that just means your connection has faltered a little bit. And so that drive to protect, that drive to reconstruct the bubble of protection around us, or our rootedness in the earth, or our openness to the divine coming in from above, that us doing that, it's as simple as the intention. It's as simple as the visualization. And so if you can lean on a crystal or a color or an elemental or a visualization of some other kind that helps the human believe that intention, move forward with those intentions, those beliefs, those values in their heart, like that is the power in those things. And what a great reminder for all of us, whether you are seeking out entities or not, the reminder of our power that we have and how that comes out. And we can really make that power bloom and unfold around us with our intention and our free will. Sapphire, I want to say thank you so much for taking on this role, and for just kind of keeping one eye open, just to learn a little bit more about these tunnels and about the other dimension nearby, and just anything else that might be helpful for us in the future as we continue to just move the energy in this space and lighten it up, because we all deserve it. And let's just send gratitude to all the souls, the spirits that came forward bravely and decided to move on and evolve. And just sending a gentle nudge to those maybe who are in the shadows watching, just to let them know they can go through that portal anytime. Just go find Sapphire and they will help you. Yeah, and so for us, Steph, what I want you to do is just Say thank you to sapphires, say goodbye in a way that feels good. And just all of us sending gratitude to this land, to these elementals, to the keeper of this land for letting us come in and try to work our magic. And so imagine your awareness, Steph, floating up above this space and gently beginning to float back toward the present moment. And as you do this, imagine yourself floating into a healing mist. And this healing mist might just be like a cloud of confetti. It might be like a special color of a cloud, but just imagine yourself in this healing mist. And just know that as you're in this mist, you're breathing it in, it's surrounding you, it's permeating the barrier of your skin. And it's restoring your frequency, restoring your equilibrium back to the highest vibration that you're ready to hold in this incarnation. In the frequency and alignment of your soul, your soul's desires and plans. And so releasing that, just imagine yourself floating back closer and closer. There it is. That is our episode for today. Again, if you liked this episode, these kind of sessions, you're going to want to check out Kinship and the Hypnotic Arts training. All right, everybody, take anything that makes your load feel lighter and just leave the rest.